In this video, we're going to cover a few nodes in n8n that'll allow you to help filter or sort out your data to be able to process the right information as you're moving forward. Now, specifically, we're going to be talking about the filter node, the limit node, and the remove duplicate nodes. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through how each of those work and how you can use them in your workflows. So I just got a simple workflow here. It's just a click trigger. So I'll just go ahead and click that. Oh yeah, I clicked it. Now, so it doesn't do anything, but I have a Google Sheets trigger, or not trigger, a Google Sheets node here that what it's going to do, it's going to pull information from this spreadsheet over here, which I use with my Google Maps scraper. And so I've got all kinds of zip codes, and some of them are scraped, and some are broken, and some don't have any information. And actually down here, these ones are all repeated. And so what we're going to do is, that's interesting. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to come back to my workflow here. We're going to go ahead and run my sheets. It's going to get me 162 items. We'll come down here and double check. I've got 163 minus 1 for my top row. Yep, and I get 162 items. So that's exactly right. Now let's see how each of these works. Now what the filter does, we'll go ahead and connect it, come in here. What the filter does is it will take some parameter, one of your items, and it will make a determination of, does it meet the criteria? So think of this like an if node just supercharged, right? So what it's going to do in this case is we're going to check whether the status column here, so come over to my spreadsheet, whether my status column, and we're going to check whether it's empty. Now I can obviously set this to, is a string or is equal to, say, scraped, or is equal to broken, or whatever it is I want, or is not equal to, and all those. I think I cover all of that in my video on sorting data. So if you want to know how all these other options are, my video on sorting data, that covers each and every single one of these. But just generally, the filter node, what it's going to do, it's going to run through all of my information, and it's going to give me only the ones that match my criteria here. So we're going to go ahead and hit execute step, and we'll see I get 45 items that we keep, which have nothing in the status section, and we're discarding 117. So I think if I come over here and I scroll down, I select this row and I select that row, I get a count of 45. So perfect. That's exactly what I was expecting. It's exactly what I got. And so now I'm able to process through only those items that have my criteria that I've met. In this case, that my scraped column is empty. All right, now let's talk about the limit node. The limit node does not do that. It does not filter anything. It doesn't, necessarily check whether your data is one thing or another. What the limit node does is it literally only allows a certain number of items through. And so here we say this one is set to 1, and it's going to keep my first item in the list. So since it's hooked up, I'm going to hit execute step, and we're going to go, boom, got one item. It's my first item in the list. Here we go. That's the right one. And obviously I can change this. I can set this to 3. And if we do that, now we got 3 items. I can set this to last item. So now it's going to go to the very bottom of my list. So my last page here, set it to 2 so I can just see that. And we get my last 2, which is that one, correct? And that one, correct. All right, and so that's all the limit node does, is if you have a whole bunch of data coming from all different places and you got all these different items, but you only want the process to move forward on, say, maybe one thing or the first thing or the last thing in your list, you use the limit node in order to be able to ensure that the right data is going through, or to really just have one thing go through. That way you don't have to worry about aggregating stuff together if you just want the process to continue on to the next node one time with one item. That's how we'd use the limit node. Now, the last node I'm going to show you is the remove duplicates node. Now, you may already think you know what the remove duplicates node does, and you're probably right. What it does is it removes any extra items, and it's going to compare all of the fields. So if I go ahead and run this, we're going to see that I get 162 items back. I should not have, right? Because my row number is different. See, you didn't actually know what it does. That's because it's comparing all the fields. And because these are actually different here, the row numbers are different, it was not going to remove it. So we're going to change that. We're going to say all fields except, in this case, we'll do row number. We're going to now do it, and it's now going to give me 137. And that's because this set down here, which we will count. So it's a 50, So 162 minus 50. Oh, I wonder if I have extras, some extra duplicates in here that I'm not aware of. But I got 137 items back, and it has passed through pretty much everything. It's got all of these. It doesn't have the extras, the ones with the 0 starting zip code, you'll notice. And those would be the duplicates. And so that's how you can do this, all right? So be aware that if you're going to pass in a Google Sheet, your row number counts as a field, and it will not remove duplicates if your row number is different. So, but if you have another type of sheet where maybe you have like a CSV that's coming through, you can, as long as your row number isn't counted as a separate field, you can set this to all fields, or you can even just choose selected field. And so we can choose our selected field of status. This will give us an entirely different answer. All right, it's going to give us 3. So it gave me anything. It gave me the first item that had the word scraped in it. There's that. It gave me the first one that had the word broken in it, which is this one, row number 60. And it gave me the first empty field under status there. All right. And so we can also set this to zip, and it'll give me just my zips. All right. So 137 different rows that had different zip codes in them. All right. And so that's the remove duplicates. It does have a couple other options here. You can disable dot notation. So I could, if this has a nested JSON over here, it might be something like data.zip, in which case I'm pulling from the higher level JSON and going into the nested item within it, which would be the zip. So that's dot notation. You can disable dot notation in case your item here has a name with a dot in it. You can disable the dot notation there, or you can even remove other fields entirely. So it's only going to give me the zip code back. So if I do this, it's just going to give me zip codes, just like that. All right, and that is how the remove duplicates node works as well. And so that's pretty much all of the main modes of, we'll call it filtering or reducing down the data that's coming through your workflows. There's also the aggregate node, but that's not necessarily reducing it. It's kind of combining it. And I talk about that in my video on merging, I believe. And so that is what we're going to cover today. Hopefully this was helpful. If you would like additional helpful n8n tips or free workflows to be able to help build your bots for yourself or for your clients, please click the link in the description below to join my free school community. Got tons of additional workflows there, social media posting bots. We've got maps scrapers. We've got personal assistants, all kinds of cool tools that you'll be able to use for yourself or for your clients. As always, I'm Bradford Carlton. Let's automate your success together.